This is a continuation of a review hearing that we commenced back on November 5th and realized we needed to hold a permanency planning hearing before the 1 year is up. So we adjourned to continue that review hearing and then also do a permanency planning hearing today. Present in the virtual courtroom, we have attorney Mark Van Slooten on behalf of Mother. We have Mother Angel Lansford. We have Mother's guardian ad litem, Stephanie Cardenas. We have Mary Golden here for Deborah Colletti, who is father's attorney. We have the child's attorney, Stacy Van Dyken. We have the CASA, Ms. Hill, and various agency workers, as well as foster parents. Ms. Van Dyken.
Thank you, Honor. Recall Mason Young.
Right. And Mr. Young, you're still under oath.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Van Dyken.
Thank you. Mr. Young, you are the supervisor of the newest worker on this case. Is that correct?
Yes.
You reviewed a court addendum, date of report 10/27/25, signed off by you and Mr. Dortman?
Yes.
And were you able to review a CASA report, date of report 10/29/25 regarding this matter?
Yes.
Your Honor, I asked to mark and admit those to the court addendum of 10/25/25, 10/27/25, and the CASA report is 10/29/25 as exhibits 1 and 2 for today's hearing.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, they're all admitted.
Thank you. Mr. Young, we were here last on November 5th. You gave us an update with regard to SN. Are there any additional updates with regard to SN since we were here last?
Yes, the caregiver actually informed me and the other agency worker for SN that SN recently had a early on visit, and it was reported that they are planning to get a vision consultation for SN and for her regular treatment, as at this time she is at risk of CVI, which is a vision impairment due to her brain injury that had brought her into care. So within that, that's just going to be monitored, and there's going to be more interventions to just further address her vision.
Has that referral been made already?
We were just informed of it this morning, so I haven't gotten a chance to fully follow up with that.
You'll follow up and also make sure that you include parents in the notification of that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's begin with Mother. Any additional services or progress on her barriers at this time?
No, not at this time. She does have, Miss Lunsford does have a psychological evaluation scheduled for this upcoming week. I believe she has it, I want to say it's either the 20th or the 21st of this week. So Miss Lunsford will be expected to complete the psychological evaluation, and then we are in the early steps of completing a foster care supported visitation referral for her.
You'll be able to assist her if necessary, if she needs help to attend the psychological appointment so that is not missed?
Yes.
Okay. Any updates with regard to housing or employment for Miss Lunsford at this time?
No, not at this time.
Okay. And other than the foster care supported visitation, I know that emotional stability and parenting skills were a barrier. Any additional services or any progress in that area?
No, not at this time. What we really want to see is just Miss Lunsford complete that psychological and just see what is recommended to her for regarding services, so then we can get those services implemented for her.
Has she continued to have parenting time with SN on the 2 days that she requested?
Yes.
Okay. And has there been any problems or complications, or are things, is she appropriate during parenting times?
There's been no concerns.
With regard to SN's medical needs, is she able to address those during her parenting time?
No, not necessarily like directly throughout the parenting time. However, the foster parent was able to provide Miss Lunsford with SN's upcoming appointments for the month of December. So we will be assisting Miss Lunsford in about how to get her to those appointments if she does want to attend.
Any other updates regarding Ms. Lansford at this time?
No, I do just want to emphasize we are still trying to, I guess for Ms. Lunsford, we are still trying to get the central registry clearance form on Ms. Lunsford's boyfriend at this time. He had an out-of-state license. So at this time, it just takes a little bit longer for the clearance process versus if he was in county.
Let's move on to Mr. Novakowski. Are there any updates for him during this interim time between November 5th and today with progress on services?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Is he still working his job as a over-the-road trucker and unable to readjust that, or has he obtained new employment?
Not since our last court hearing, no.
Is he visiting with SN?
Yes, he does normally visit with SN. These past 2 weeks, he has been, he had caught a cold, so he just emphasized that he didn't want to spread those germs to SN. So he hasn't had any visits these past 2 Fridays, but I believe that he should have one this upcoming Friday, as long as he doesn't cancel it.
And that's appropriate due to her susceptibility to germs, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
We did move today to a permanency planning hearing. Would return of SN to either of her parents at this time be in her best interest?
No.
Would it still, returning her, I just went out of my head. Would it cause a substantial risk to her life, physical health, or mental well-being?
Yes.
And that is because mother recently just left incarceration, is just beginning to work on her parenting agency treatment plan, correct?
Yes.
Is it in the best interest at this time, with the length of time that SN has been in care, to move towards termination of parental rights?
No, not at this time. I would just say due to Ms. Lunsford just recently getting out of incarceration, along with they just recently, both Mr. Novakowski and Ms. Lunsford, just having their adjudication hearing. I would like to see if that they would be able to benefit from services.
Okay. Services, though, have been offered to Mr. Novakowski during this entire time, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So they have been available to him, and as well as Ms. Lunsford, the limited services that she could do while incarcerated.
Yes.
The agency operating under regional prudent parenting standards, giving SN the opportunity to engage in age-appropriate activities as she can with her medical needs?
Yes.
Okay. Your recommendations today?
It is respectfully recommended that SN remain a temporary court ward under direct care and supervision of the Department of Health and Human Services and its contracted agencies, Wellspring Lutheran Services. SN remain in a licensed foster home. Ms. Lunsford and Mr. Novakowski benefit and participate in a parent agency treatment plan. Ms. Lunsford's parenting times remain supervised by the agency or its designee. Mr. Novakowski's parenting times remain supervised by the agency or its designee. The permanency goal remain reunification at this time, and this matter be reviewed as appropriate.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
All right, thank you, Mr. Van Slooten.
Mr. Young, is there a consistent parenting time schedule in place now?
Yes, so Ms. Lunsford has her parenting times every Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That was per Ms. Lunsford's request, just due to the nature of the amount of appointments that SN has, that she just felt that it would be more beneficial for her to just have a 2-hour parenting time on Fridays.
At our last hearing, 2 visits had occurred. Have there been 2 more since that time?
Yes, so Miss Lunsford had a parenting time this past Friday, and then the Friday before that, Miss Lunsford did actually catch a cold, so she did ask to cancel her parenting time for that day, but since then she has been having them.
Okay, and she's been able to manage SN during these 2-hour visits?
That is correct.
Okay. Is she still working with the Women's Resource Center, do you know?
Yes.
Okay. And has she told you that she had a job application or at least a possible interview coming up?
I was not aware of that, but that is something that I will get in communication with her about.
Okay. And I think I asked you this before, but the agency can provide assistance in seeking employment, correct?
Yes,
And this psych eval that's scheduled for this week, I mean, that's gonna be pretty telling as to where we go with services after that, report is received, correct?
correct.
Okay. With these medical appointments that are scheduled for December, the agency can assist with transportation, is that correct?
Yes, we would be able to supply Ms. Lunsford with either gas cards if she has reliable transportation, or we would also be able to provide her with a bus pass, which we already do. So we would just have to determine if there is a bus route that's able to get from her current residence to the appointment. But if not, we would just kind of look into see if she had reliable transportation for herself. And if she did, we would provide a gas card, but if not, we would ensure that she could get to those appointments.
With one visit per week, how is foster care supported visitation gonna work? Is it gonna be there for the full 2 hours or just 1 hour of each 2 hour visit?
Yep, so normally with foster care supported visitation, they have to meet with the parent either 1 hour before their visit or 1 hour after the visit, and then the other hour they spend supervising the visit.
You'll explain the program to Ms. Lunsford?
Yes.
Okay, I have nothing further, thanks.
All right, thank you. Ms. Golden.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Young, so what is Mr. Novakowski's biggest barrier? Is it the fact that he's not able to get to the medical appointments to show he can care for the child? Is that the biggest barrier for him?
Yes.
Okay, and because he's a truck driver, obviously it's difficult for him to get there, but is he, have you talked to him about trying to find other employment?
Yes, that is something that we have had regular conversations about. Mr. Novakowski did express that he was in the process of trying to find more of a daytime shift. However, they just didn't have any openings at that time. But that's something that he has been very communicative about. It's like an ongoing process for him that he has been keeping an eye out if there is any job opportunities for him to take on during a day shift.
And is he able to talk to either the doctor, whoever sees the child regarding medical appointments to get information through them on what's going on and how the child's doing?
Yes, there was discussion of him attending some of the appointments maybe virtually. However, the doctor just really emphasized that in order for him to retain the information and just ask more in-depth questions, it would just be beneficial for him to attend the appointments regularly in person.
Okay, and his visits, you already said they're on Fridays, once a week, is that correct?
Correct. They occur every Friday from 1 to 3 p.m.
And other than the 2 weeks that he missed because of a cold, has he been consistent and appropriate during the visits?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else you want him to do that he's not doing?
I would just really emphasize for him to be involved in some type of therapeutic service, just for him to fully address just the reasons that brought Sasha into care and just how to appropriately care for her given the medical due to her medical needs. I think that would just be really beneficial for him, along with just kind of addressing him and Miss Lunsford relationship. As when Sasha kind of came into care, a lot of stuff was brought up to the surface regarding what Mr. Novakowski has presented to me, and so he had stopped that relationship. And I don't know if he is okay with that, or if he's not okay with it, or if he's just doing what's in the best interest for SN at this time. So I think just a therapeutic service would be really beneficial for him.
And have you referred him to anyone for that?
So he had asked that he complete some type of therapeutic service virtually. So I was able to provide Mr. Novakowski with a variety of virtual therapists. But when I talked with the therapist, it was something that he had to contact himself to set up the intake appointment. That wasn't something that I could do.
Okay, so you gave him the information and he just needs to call and set that up, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, thank you. Ms. Van Dyken, any follow-up?
No follow-up, Your Honor, and no other witnesses or evidence.
Mr. Van Slooten, any follow-up?
No follow-up, and I have no witnesses or evidence as well.
All right, thank you. Ms. Golden?
I have no witnesses or other evidence, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, statements, Ms. Van Dyken.
Thank you, Your Honor. I did visit with SN, doing very well in the foster home. They're meeting all of her needs. I unfortunately do not agree with the recommendation to make this next hearing a review hearing. I am coming from a child-centered focused thought that this child has been in care for a year now. I understand that Ms. Lansford was incarcerated for part of that, but that she will have additional time to show that she could make progress on her goals in the next 90 days prior to the next, if the court does grant my request for a PPH. But I just can't have this child spending more of her life in foster care than she has been alive. It's not fair that we make her wait for the parents to figure out if they have to change jobs, meet her needs, meet her medical needs, if they can handle all of that. So I would respectfully disagree with the recommendation for a review hearing and ask the court for a permanency planning hearing.
All right, thank you. Mr. Van Slooten.
Your Honor, I would ask that you follow the recommendations. Ms. Lunsford, by my count, has been out of the Kent County Correctional Facility for 6 weeks. She has a psychological evaluation scheduled. As the court knows, she's got a GAL, and that psychological evaluation may have a lot of information that the agency will need in terms of tailoring a treatment plan to her specific needs. So I would ask that you follow the recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cardenas.
Your Honor, I concur with Mr. Van Slooten, and he is adequately representing Ms. Lunsford. I know that they meet and talk and so on. And any of the recommendations at this point, as have been stated, do not go against her best interest.
Thank you. Ms. Golden.
Your Honor, I do agree with the recommendations. It sounds like Mr. Novakowski is looking for other employment so that he can better attend appointments of the child and show the court that he can meet the child's needs. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The court finds that the lawyer guardian ad litem has complied with the requirements of the statute. That returning this child to either parent today would cause a substantial risk of harm to her life, physical health, or mental well-being. That the child should not be returned to a parent. That the agency should not initiate proceedings to terminate parental rights due to the fact that Ms. Lunsford has just recently been released from incarceration. That reasonable efforts to reunify and preserve the family and make it possible for this child to return home have been made. That those reasonable efforts should continue. That in accordance with the statute, progress towards alleviating or mitigating the conditions that caused the child to be placed or remain in temporary foster care have not been made by either parent at this point. That the child's continued placement is necessary and appropriate, is meeting her needs. Thank you very much to the foster parents, because I know her needs are high. That the needs of this child can be met in a foster family home. That reasonable efforts have been made to finalize the court-approved permanency plan of return to a parent. That permanency planning goal at this time does remain appropriate. The court orders that this child continue the protective temporary custody of the court, continue placement with the Department for Care and Supervision. That Mr. Novakowski and Ms. Lunsford comply with and benefit from the case service plan. They're to sign any necessary releases. That parenting time of both parents is at the discretion of the department to allow unsupervised or supervised parenting time by its designee. I'll continue the attorneys in this matter, and our next hearing will be a combined permanency planning and review hearing. I am not authorizing that a termination petition be filed today in order to give Ms. Lunsford more time. But as Ms. Van Dyken points out, this is a very young child with special needs. She's been in care now for a year, and parents both need to step it up here in the next 3 months. So that when I take a look at it at the permanency planning hearing 3 months from now, the court can see some significant progress. And Ms. Gibson, do we have a date?
Yes, Your Honor. February 11 from 10 to 11.
Any conflicts with that date or time?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, we will see you then. Oh, Mr. Young's got his hand raised. Mr. Young?
Hi, Your Honor, I did forget to ask, so the caregivers told us that they're going to be going on vacation in December, from December 5th through the 7th, and they had asked if Sasha was able to come with them because they'll be in Illinois, and I know that we need parental consent for that. So, Mr. Novakowski, he is fine with her going. However, Ms. Lunsford was very hesitant about SN going with the caregivers out of state. So I just wanted to ask the court's permission in order for her to go, as the foster parents are well equipped to her needs. And I think that is in the best interest if she were to go with them instead of being placed in a respite home.
Thank you. Mr. Van Slooten?
I haven't had a chance to consult with Ms. Lunsford about the issue. I mean, if she's in the care of the foster parents the entire time, I'm not sure it's an issue, but if I could have just a minute in a breakout room, I would be happy to talk to her. I don't know what time we have here.
We can do that. And Ms. Gibson, your hand's raised?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. I'm sorry, I got my 10s and 11s mixed up. We can do February 11 from 10 to 11. Does that work for everybody?
Yes.
That's,
Yeah,
I think that's what
you said.
you said.
I thought I said
You did good.
February 10 from 10 to 11.
No.
Okay. Wonderful.
right.
Thank you.
Can you create a breakout room for Mr. Van Slooten and Ms. Lunsford, please?
Yes, would
I
you
would
like
like to
to
join
start
too.
the recording and live stream?
Yes. And Ms. Cardenas would like to join as well.
We have mother, Ms. Lunsford. We have father, Mr. Novakowski. We have Ms. Lunsford's attorney, Mark Van Slooten, Ms. Lunsford's guardian ad litem, Stephanie Cardenas. We have father's attorney, Ms. Colletti, child's attorney, Ms. Van Dyken, various agency workers, as well as the CASA.
Mr. Young, what's your role in this case?
I was previously the foster care case manager for the case, but most recently I was promoted to supervisor, so I will be the supervisor on the case.
Okay. You signed a report that was, I assumed it was written by Mr. Dortmund because he also signed it. Date of report 10/27/25, is that correct?
Yes,
And were you able to review the CASA report of 10/29/25?
yes, I was.
Your Honor, I'd ask to mark and admit the court addendum of 10/27/25 as Exhibit 1 and the CASA report as Exhibit 2.
Any objection?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, it's admitted, or they're admitted.
Thank you. Mr. Young, SN still resides in foster care, correct?
Yes,
And that foster care home is meeting all of her special medical needs at this time?
yes, they are.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about the needs of SN?
Yes, so SN, when she came into care, she had a TBI, which her further diagnoses resulted in like seizures, a traumatic brain injury with the loss of consciousness and fatal spasms, global development delays, hypotonia, chronic subdural hemorrhage, and then subdural hemorrhage.
She has numerous doctor appointments, correct?
Yes, every week. She has multiple, even sometimes there's sometimes like 2 to 3 in a day. She requires one-on-one care. She recently too has been receiving like special medical equipment through Mary Freebread that she has like standards. She has a special like car seat for herself, along with like a specialized stroller.
With all of those appointments and everything that's going on, is she up to date on her medical?
Yes,
Okay. She just has these ongoing multiple concerns.
correct.
Is there, and I believe that SN is receiving early on services as well?
Yes, SN, she goes to neurosurgery, neurology, and then neurodevelopment as required. And then she also receives early on services, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and then speech therapy as required.
Anything about SN that's not contained in your report that the court should be made aware of?
Just most recently, I'll just note that she was just recently sick and broke out in a fever. However, as of yesterday, I received an update from the caregiver about SN, and she is doing so much better. She broke out in a post-viral rash, and it confirmed that she had been fighting a virus that is now exiting her body. The caregiver reported that SN has been sleeping and eating much better and is back to her happy self again.
She's on track, not on track developmentally, but she's on track size and weight, those kind of things.
Correct.
Okay. Let's move on to the parents. Let's start with Miss Lunsford. She was recently released from incarceration, correct?
Correct.
Have you been able to meet with her and get a proposed parent agency treatment plan with services for her?
Yes, I met with her that Monday after she was released from incarceration because she was released on weekend and the agency is not open during the weekend. So I met with her that following Monday. I actually was able to meet with Miss Lunsford at the Women's Resource Center here in Grand Rapids, where they were able to assist her with getting some personal items for herself, along with helping her apply for a government phone, along with helping her apply for food assistance.
What did you lay out and have a discussion with Ms. Lunsford about what her barriers are?
Yes, we discussed that her barriers as of right now is emotional stability, parenting skills, I would say domestic violence too, or domestic relations. But we were able to discuss that, and I let her know that the expectation is with her just being released now, and that she is no longer having those charges against her, that she will be expected to complete a psychological evaluation, along with her starting in-person parenting times again with SN, that we would be referring her to foster care supportive visitation, along with referring her to a trauma-informed parenting course.
What services are you recommending for her emotional stability and parenting skills?
For emotional stability, I would like for her to complete that psychological evaluation, just so we are able to get a better understanding of what recommendations would be recommended to her. Along with, I would like Ms. Lunsford to be engaged in at least weekly therapy sessions, just so she is able to kind of process the reasons of removal and just kind of work towards having a better understanding for her emotional stability. For parenting skills, I would like Miss Lunsford to complete foster care supportive visitation so they could work with her during her parenting times to just better help her engage with SN, along with just kind of learning what needs are required for SN if being reunified back to either Mr. Novakowski or Miss Lunsford, along with just completing a trauma-informed parenting course.
Well, you mentioned weekly therapy. Can she begin that before the psychological evaluation so we can get a jump start instead of having to wait months?
Yes, that is definitely something that we are looking into. I was just kind of at the time just kind of seeing, I wanted Miss Lunsford just to get adjusted with her being released, and then she moved to Desert, the homeless shelter, along with, I know Miss Lunsford noted that she had some other appointments, which I'm in the process of following up what those appointments are that she's attending. But that is definitely something that we are able to do, as we have been able to provide Miss Lunsford with a bus card, so she is able to have reliable transportation to get to the services.
So you mentioned that she's staying at Desert, so housing is a barrier as well, correct?
Correct.
Employment or income, is that a barrier?
Yes, that is also a barrier.
And what services or what are you going to offer her to address that?
We at this time, I think we will just look into what housing assistance is available to Miss Lunsford to see what we can do to get her out of the homeless shelter. However, I do want to bring it to the court's attention that Miss Lunsford has recently gotten into a new relationship that isn't with Mr. Novakowski. The agency just learned about this as they both came into the agency on Friday. But due to SN being sick, we weren't able to have a parenting time, but we are in the process of running central registry clearance forms on this new boyfriend of hers. But I do know that I believe she has also been staying with him at a hotel. I just don't know what hotel.
And have you been able to inquire of her about this relationship?
Miss Lunsford doesn't have like appropriate like communication right now, just due to her not having a cell phone. However, we were able to receive the cell phone number of her boyfriend, in which he notified me this morning that this would be the best way to get in communication with her.
You mentioned that domestic violence was a barrier as well, and now she's recently out of incarceration and into a new relationship within a month.
Correct.
What services are you offering for her to address that?
I would just offer to see if we could get a domestic violence course either through Harbor Circle or through the YMCA, just to see if we can address that. I just know that per what Mr. Novakowski has reported to me, like he unfortunately does not feel safe to be around Miss Lunsford at this time, due to just him stating that feels that he has received threats when she was incarcerated, but we have not been able to determine if that was actual threats coming from Miss Lunsford. However, it just remains a concern at this time, like as you stated, that Miss Lunsford did jump into a relationship quite fast. And I just think that due to all of SN's needs, like that's just not appropriate at this time. However, we are looking to see if this would be an appropriate support person for her at this time due to her not having many supports.
Do you have a date for her psychological? Has that been approved?
It just recently got approved, so we are in the process of getting it scheduled.
And is Miss Lunsford informed of the numerous appointments for SN that are necessary for her health and well-being?
Yes, every month when all of SN's appointments are scheduled, the caregiver writes down the dates and times for SN's appointments, and we are able to provide a copy to Miss Lunsford along with Mr. Novakowski. And the expectation is maybe that they can attend like every other appointment, just because I do not want both of them to attend the same one on the same date. So we would just kind of break that up. But at this time, she has not been able to attend any.
And that's important to learn about the care and the needs of SN, correct?
Correct.
Anything else regarding Miss Lunsford at this time?
No, she does visit. She has had 2 visits with SN so far since being released from Kent County Jail. They have gone well. She has requested 2 hours on Friday just due to the fact of how many appointments SN has. So she just feels that it would be easier for her schedule along with SN's appointment schedule to just visit on Fridays for 2 hours from 11 to 1 p.m. So that is what we have been doing. She didn't have a visit last week, but like I said, it was due to SN being sick.
Have you been able to observe the visits?
Yes, I was the one who supervised both of the visits.
And how do those go?
The first one, we just kind of started off. Miss Lunsford didn't hold SN at all. We had SN in her stroller that just kind of supports SN due to her just not being able to kind of hold herself up on her own. So she just interacted with SN while SN was sitting in the stroller. However, the most recent parenting time that she did have, we were able to have Miss Lunsford hold her the whole duration of the 2 hours, and she did really well. She held SN. We were able to feed SN, along with she was able to change SN's diaper. So there was no concerns.
Anything else regarding Miss Lunsford at this time?
No.
Let's move on to Mr. Novakowski. What barriers remain for him for reunification?
Barriers for him would be emotional stability, parenting skills, and just his understanding of being able to ability to respond to Sasha's medical and development needs. He has employment, he has housing. our biggest concerns is just wanting to get him into therapy along with more of a trauma-informed parenting skills course, along with just attending all of Sasha's medical appointments.
You mentioned that the caregiver provided a month in advance of all the appointments for SN, and they are provided to Mr. Novakowski, correct?
Yes, the caregiver sends Mr. Novakowski a text message letting him know of all of the appointments, and will even send up like follow appointments, asking for him to confirm if he can make any of the appointments. He has been provided these for multiple months now, but at this time he has not attended any.
And not one medical appointment.
Correct.
In your report, you requested that he look at his job as employment to perhaps change due to, is it his schedule, or is it, what is the reason for asking him to change his employment?
Yes, so Mr. Novakowski, he is a truck driver through JB Hunt, which he is always on the go for that job. And sometimes, like, even when he comes for his parenting time on Fridays, like, he's observed to be very tired, just because he hasn't slept yet. So the agency is just wanting for him to just kind of see if he can find more of an appropriate employment, or maybe a daytime job through the same company that maybe he could work 9 to 5 and then still have the nighttime to maybe attend any appointments, or just better communication of what appointments he does think that he could attend.
You mentioned parenting skills. He did complete the foster care supportive visitation, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And what other services were you looking to enhance his parenting skills?
I think just at this time, just more of a trauma-informed parenting course too. Unfortunately, there wasn't that many recommendations following the foster care supportive visitation. So I just think that an additional trauma-informed parenting course would just benefit him due to the trauma that Sasha experienced before coming into care.
You mentioned that emotional stability was another barrier. What services, what is he working on there?
So me and Mr. Novakowski have had multiple conversations about getting him into therapy. Mr. Novakowski expressed that virtual therapy would be the best for him at this time, just due to his work schedule. So I was able to create a list of virtual therapy providers for him. I was able to get his insurance from him, but when I tried calling the multiple places, they just indicated that is something that Mr. Novakowski would have to call and schedule himself, as they would have to schedule an intake appointment before getting him started. But at this time, Mr. Novakowski hasn't done that, and he has not been engaged in therapy.
And you mentioned that he has parenting time on Fridays. Sometimes he's tired. Other than those types, how does he do parenting SN?
He does really well. I am very impressed with the amount of supplies that he is willing to provide SN. Just most recently, he bought a whole box of diapers for the caregiver for SN. He even bought SN a pack and play that stays here at the agency, so he has that during his parenting times. He does very well with SN, but like I said, my only biggest concern is just sometimes we do have to step in and just let him know, like, hey, Mr. Novakowski, like, you do have to like stay awake during his parenting times, just because he is very tired during the parenting time. So there is sometimes that he is observed to falling asleep.
And it's important that he's awake and paying close attention due to the special needs of SN, correct?
Correct.
Would you agree with me that his biggest barrier would be the understanding of the enormous medical needs of SN?
Yes.
Anything else regarding Mr. Novakowski at this time?
No, not at this time.
What are your recommendations today?
It is respectfully recommended that SN remain a temporary court ward under the direct care and supervision of the Department of Health and Human Services and Wellspring Lutheran Services. SN remains in a licensed foster home. Ms. Lunsford and Mr. Novakowski benefit and participate in a parent agency treatment plan. Ms. Lunsford's parenting times remain supervised by the agency. Mr. Novakowski's parenting times remain supervised by the agency, and this matter be reviewed as appropriate.
And due to the length of time that this child has been in care, while I understand mother was incarcerated for a period of that time, do you think a permanency planning hearing might be appropriate at the next review hearing?
Yes.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Thank you. Mr. Van Slooten.
Thank you. Mr. Young, where are SN's medical appointments? Are they here in Grand Rapids or Rockford or outstanding areas or outlying areas?
To my understanding, majority of them are here in Grand Rapids.
Okay. And do you provide, I know you provide bus passes for Miss Lunsford, but would there be sufficient bus passes if she were to go to medical appointments?
Yes, most certainly. And I just asked that for the time being, since Miss Lunsford did not have a phone, we were like, I provided the appointments for her still, but due to her not having phone, like I just told her it was very important for her to communicate if she was able to make the appointment. So if she came one of the Fridays for the parent time and wanted to come to one of the appointments, then we would make that work. But due to her just now being able to communicate with Miss Lunsford's boyfriend, I think that is definitely something that we can get started.
Okay.
If she does ask to attend one of the appointments, we will make sure that she has the phone address, the phone number address for the appointment, so
Okay.
she can ensure that she can be there. But my only thing is I ask is that the boyfriend do not attend the appointments.
Okay. She's required to have supervised parenting time. Is that an issue if she were to go to medical appointments?
We would probably have a third party present
Okay.
during the appointment just to see kind of how it goes. And as long as they go okay for the first couple and the caregivers were okay, that is something that we would address and we would bring to the court's attention to see if what we have to do for her to attend without the agency present.
You mentioned she's at Degage. Is the agency doing anything to assist with housing?
At this time, we are just looking into housing resources to see what's available for Ms. Lunsford. However, she has reported that she has been doing well at Degage. She has been able to be provided like meals there, a bed, so at this time it's not that emergent due to her just having housing for herself at the shelter.
And then how about employment assistance? Is the agency able to assist with that?
Yes, that is something that me and Ms. Lunsford discussed, and she let me know that she was going to start looking for employment for herself, and I let her know that if she needed any help, either myself or Mr. Dortmund could help her create maybe a resume or a cover letter. And it sounded like the Women's Resource Center was willing to help her as well.
She's been out of jail just a day over a month, correct?
That is correct. She was released on 10-4.
All right, and you're doing the best you can to make sure that we get services in place quickly, correct?
Correct.
Is she complying with your requests so far?
Yes, she has been very pleasant to work with so far.
Okay. I have nothing further, thanks.
Thanks. Ms. Colletti.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Young, is Mr. Novakowski looking for a different job where he's not an over-the-road trucker?
Yes, Mr. Novakowski did let me know that he was in communication with JB Hunt about a potential opening, but then they just kind of came back and let him know that there wasn't any current opening. So I don't know where the confusion was there, to be honest with you, just because I think Mr. Novakowski was presented that there was an opening for a daytime position. However, when he had the phone call with them, they stated that there was not. So that is something that he is still looking for. That is something that we kind of address every time I do meet with Mr. Novakowski just to get an update. And he just lets me know that he continues looking.
Okay. And the appointments that he's not able to attend, does he text the foster care or the foster care family that he's not able to make that, or check on how the visit, how the appointment goes?
I'm not sure. I know for right now the caregiver has like a group chat between the three of us. And the caregiver, Mr. Novakowski, will ask how SN is doing periodically, and the caregiver is very well at communicating how SN is doing in regards to the appointments. I am not sure if Mr. Novakowski communicates with the caregiver separately outside of the group chat. But I am sure that the caregiver also provides an update once parenting times happen.
Okay, and so with regard to these appointments, he's not able to make them with his current schedule, correct? They're not available on
Correct.
weekend? Okay, and so with regard to his counseling, would the counseling by Zoom be available on weekends when he's available?
Yes, Mr. Novakowski kind of let me know that that was just the best thing for him, just because there is times that he is able to stop and kind of take a break from his driving within his job, that he would be able to have like a Zoom counseling, like an hour session. So that is what he thought was going to be best for him.
Okay, and so the main thing is you want him to communicate with you and or the foster parents about which visits he can attend? Or
Yes, I think just to generalize, like when the caregiver provides like the month of the appointments, I think that it would be best if we knew a plan, if there was any that he thought that he could potentially come to, and if there is any barriers, just kind of working that through with him. I know there was also discussion, he asked if he could attend virtually for the appointments. However, the caregiver did discuss this with like the service provider and the doctors, and they just let us know that that is something that we could do. But however, they just don't feel that that would really be beneficial to him, as that it would be more important for him to attend in person.
I see. Thank you. No other questions.
Thank you. The court just noticed that this child's been in care since November 24th of 2024. The law does require that we have a permanency planning hearing at least once per year. And so today is November 5th. So my question to everyone is whether the parents are willing to waive notice and we can do a permanency planning hearing today, or whether we need to try to find another date for a permanency planning hearing before November 24th.
Okay, Mr. Novakowski, could you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you agree to waive notice of the permanency planning hearing for today so that we can discuss permanence for SN?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have no objection to waiving notice.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. I would just ask that maybe Miss Cardenas and I go into a quick breakout room with Miss Lunsford, if that's okay.
That's fine.
All right.
We'll take a short recess.